Well, each week a group of insiders joins me to offer perspective on some of the week's top stories. This week sounding off on economic growth in Evansville and Southwest Indiana. In the Indiana Sports Corporation asking businesses and citizens to get in the game as an unprecedented string of major sporting events approaches. Joining me now on the Insiders, pleased to be joined by Launch Fishers and Indiana IoT Lab founder John Wechsler. Also, VOX Global Managing Director Mike Marker. And Krieg DeVault Partner Deborah Daniels. And welcome one and all to the Insiders for another week. I mentioned off the top when we had Evansville Mayor Lloyd Winnecke on the show off the top talking about economic development momentum, John, in Evansville and Southwest Indiana. A big, huge Toyota announcement about a week ago or so. But in Evansville, millions of dollars downtown. They're really helping to transform that city. Yeah,
that's a. It was apparent years ago that they were really investing in entrepreneurship and innovation early. We made several trips down there, and you could see the leadership from the mayor's office all the way through the chamber, through the state support, through the ISBDC office that was down there, that they were really committed to business, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And I think we're going to start to see the fruits of that investment in infrastructure here in the coming years.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see the hard work of Mayor Winnecke and leaders like Greg Wathen and others who have worked at this for a long time, really pay off. The riverfront that they have down there, the projects they've done around that, the IU Medical Center and the drive around healthcare talent there, the entertainment venues that John mentioned, and the corporate citizens who have been there and investing for a long time. It's just really nice to see the growth that's happening. And then you got Todd Licklider now running the Purple Aces.
Running the basketball program there. You're right.
Right.
What do you think it is? Because it always hasn't been the case down there. They've, from time to time, maybe struggled getting some things going, but maybe it's the leadership, bringing people together, and now things beginning to snowball.
I think leadership, a shared vision. It's a tri-state area there, so they've become a bit of a talent hub. There, and I just think that shared vision and all rowing in the same direction has been really helpful.
Certainly a vision for Indianapolis and Central Indiana over the years has been sports. That continues certainly to be the case, and we're about to, in the next 2 years, have an unprecedented string of big sporting events. Deborah, from the NBA All-Star Game, Men's Final Four, National College Football Championship. Raising a lot of money, too. $20 million of a $25 million goal, so well underway to make that happen.
This may be one of the most ambitious undertakings I think Indianapolis has ever gotten involved in, including the Super Bowl.
Right.
Because there are so many of these events, and they're almost to their goal, so they're doing fine with the fundraising.
And it's fundraising, very important, obviously, but volunteers. And Indianapolis has been known and built its reputation on volunteers, but this is really going to put it to the test.
I think this is a no-brainer. In Indianapolis, or Central Indiana generally, because people will come from the surrounding counties to help, I don't think we'll have any trouble finding 10,000 volunteers. I'm excited.
Also, technology continues to be big in Indiana, not just, again, here in Central Indiana. Notre Dame's Idea Center, really a startup, kind of an incubator on the Notre Dame campus, announced this week that they've really doubled in 2019 the total number of startups in the previous 2 years. And John, I know you're familiar with the people at the Idea Center. Nice to see Notre Dame in the technology game as well.
And they're doing just a world-class job at what they're trying to accomplish: commercialization, spinning up startup tech and innovation companies. I think when you look at, compared with what Purdue does, Notre Dame, and IU Research and Technology Corp, those are probably three amazing economic engines for the next few decades. And what Notre Dame is doing is just remarkable. So we're really big fans of Innovation Park. We've done some trips up there. They've been down to visit us at the IoT Lab and Launch Fishers, and we're big supporters of their effort there.
Well, we're talking innovation. We also earlier on the show talked about the new IU Supercomputer. Big Red 200 ties in with the IU Bicentennial, one of the fastest supercomputers in the country. That's a big asset.
It really is. It was amazing in the release and the discussion about the supercomputer. They talked about the old one being obsolete, and I thought, man, my iPhone, 6 is still pretty cool, but apparently supercomputers go out of style pretty quickly. We've seen Big Red 2, and the infrastructure that they're building down there for the cyber focus of communities of tomorrow. We're just building competency there that's going to show leadership for decades into the future.
Yeah, and I think Fred Kate and Brad Wheeler and their teams deserve a lot of credit here because they've been on the leading edge of supercomputing as you look at big research universities nationally. And this move to Big Red 200 and the artificial intelligence that comes with that really puts them on a bigger scale nationally and internationally. So it's good news for the state and for the university, but as you think about Hoosiers in general, what this type of supercomputing and AI makes possible are things like personalizing treatments for things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and predicting earthquakes and looking at ways to treat cancers. And so it's going to have a positive impact on the everyday lives of Hoosiers as well.
Yeah, as we continue to have a look around the state of Indiana, Indianapolis International Airport, certainly we report a lot on it being named continually the best airport in North America. It's not the only airport in Indiana. Fort Wayne International Airport reached a big milestone last year, 10th consecutive year of growth at the airport. Deborah, how important is that to have, Indy with nonstops and the growth there, but to have these regional cities, these airports do well?
It's tremendously important. Not long ago, we were talking about South Bend and the growth at that airport, and now you've got Fort Wayne. They're expanding their terminal. They're increasing their nonstops. It's going to be a real boon to economic development there. Yeah,
and what I meant to say was 10th consecutive year of passenger growth, so positive.
Yeah, and when you think about the growth happening up in Northeast Indiana, the airport's a part of that, right? It's a major infrastructure and attraction, and the group up there that's working towards getting to 1 million people in the population in that region by 2030, and the airport as part of that hub and attraction is really important for that effort.
Yeah. I can't have an insider segment without talking about food and comfort food coming to the yard at Fishers District. And John Wechsler, you're very engaged and involved in that. Talk about not only this announcement this week, but more broadly. The yard at Fishers has been talked about for a long time. It's really getting close, I think, to really opening up all the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'll lead with fried chicken. Yeah. All right. So Natural State Provision is the third now of our 3 stalls. We have Carlos Salazar and Little Dumplings is his concept, and then Korave, which is a Korean fast casual concept. So what we're going to see there is the 3 restaurants will feed Sun King's Innovation Brewery. We think that each of these stand on their own as really great concepts, but they complement, look, everything goes great with Sun King's flavors. And then we have a 4th installment there called the Signature Table. That is a culinary performance space where you can have private dinners, group events. We're going to do classes. We're putting together a Valentine's Day dinner where you can come in and one person can prepare dinner for the other right there with our chef. Wow. So it's going to be a really unique culinary experience, all within this $115 million master plan development. 450 apartments, 300 hotel rooms, and 100,000 square feet of retail with Topgolf, IKEA, and Portillo's all right there together. So I think we're going to see a real force for retail and culinary right there in Fishers.
Yeah, is it the next wave of development up there?
It is. It's a defining development. I think the mayor and his team have done an amazing job of kind of master planning this entertainment corridor. Yep. And when you look at what a little bit of room is left there and kind of dream about what might happen next, I think we have a really good platform, and it's going to be fun here in the coming years.
We only have about 20 seconds, Deborah, but how important is it to have more diverse offerings from a restaurant and entertainment standpoint, not just in downtown Indianapolis, but in places like Fishers and outside of downtown Indy?
Oh, it's critically important, and it even extends to places like Greencastle. There are lots of places out around the state. Now, Fishers isn't out around the state; it's very close in, but that are really diversifying opportunities, and that brings more people in. So, Fishers is going to get more and more young people in, which is critically important for the workforce.
We visited Greencastle. We visited Bridges Wine Bar. That's a great example of activity around the state. Great Insiders panel for another week. Mike Marker, Deborah Daniels, John Wechsler, thank you all, and we'll be right back.